Now, Nigeria's transportation sector is undergoing a technological shift as innovators work to digitize payment systems, replacing cash transactions with contactless and mobile solutions. The push aims to address challenges such as fare leakages, operational inefficiencies, and security concerns, while opening new opportunities for data-driven transport management. As cashless adoption grows across various industries, public transport is emerging as the next frontier for digital transformation. Co-founder and CEO of Nairaxi, Kingsley Eze, joins me now to discuss this further. Good morning to you, Kingsley, and many thanks for joining us on Business Week today. I hope you can hear me clearly. You're most welcome. Well, let's begin with some of the biggest... Great. I'm glad to hear that, Kingsley. Let's begin with some of the biggest shortcomings within Nigeria's current transport payment systems. What are some of this, and in what ways can technology address these gaps?
Thank you for that question. The current transit systems we operate in Nigeria, the first problem it has is heavy reliance on cash. I can tell you for the fact that 70 to 80% of all payments when it comes to taking both intra-city buses, for example, within Lagos or within Abuja or whatever city you are in Nigeria, interstate travels is done primarily through cash. It's only airline travels because of the high ticket items that you see people that can pay with their cards or pay through mobile payment. So the first issue we have here is the issue of a cash-based system. The next system we have is inefficiency when it comes to operating transit systems. You see conductors or drivers or transit operators, they waste time. For example, boarding takes a whole lot of time. You also see issue where I don't have change is a problem for most commuters. So the next problem you also face is the issue of you don't have accurate data to back up the ridership that most operators engage in. So they can't even access loans. When government buy buses, they end up maintenance is an issue because there's no data to track how much a particular bus makes in a month or in a year that gives the government the positive nudge to buy more buses or even to pay attention to this industry. So recap, heavy reliance on cash, inefficiency of operators, and not being able to get accurate data from the current transit systems that we operate.
Looking at your platform, how does Nairaxi's model streamline fare collection for both passengers and operators?
Okay, for Nairaxi, what we've done is we tokenize payment in the sense that we're not coming to replace both cash and the bank, because that's actually the middle point there. Commuters can come with cash. They get to use regular way they normally pay, but they have to record that data into a card. So the platform is more of representation of that physical cash, so that when you go to the bus operators, you can just get access to the service. In terms of the merchants, they also have their own established payment channels that Nairaxi can plug into and make sure that their collection is done seamlessly. There's also instant settlement. We hope to cut down transaction time to just 1 second. If you go to places where we have our systems operating, for example, in Plateau State, Jos, transaction is done in just a second. We hope to have it more of a lifestyle card system where you can just use the system for your, low ticket items, for example, micro payments, because the current payment infrastructure, like bank transfers, you can't charge someone that wants to go to, let's say, Gariki or Oshodi, 15 naira for every transaction. So they want I want to pay 500 and I'm just paying 500. So that is what our system will guarantee. There's zero transaction fee. You only pay that transaction fee at the point of top up, which means if you know you can use a bus for like 20 times in a month and each ride costs you 300 naira, so you can just do 20 times 300. So you can just load 6,000 at once, pay that transaction fee one time and use it for the rest of the month. So we also hope to scale it to other use cases. So that's what we offer at Nairaxi.
Certainly sounds like a seamless approach to it. But as you highlighted earlier, it all boils down to cash, which still dominates fair payments. That's where this all stems from. What strategies can drive a more aggressive shift towards digital systems?
The first thing I can think of is incentive. The word here is incentive. First of all, payment is not a technology problem. It's more of a culture problem. How do you change people's way of doing things? For example, the NURT or the park operators, they have the way they do their current business. So the only way they can change to card system or to have platforms like mobile payment is when they understand the benefits that they can get from running a system like Nairaxi. First of all, if you're an operator, the first incentive is you want to make more money. That's the only thing that appeals to most operators. So what our system can offer you is it gives you access to be your own bank, in the sense a customer is using a ride for 20 times in a month. They have their money already stocked in the card. So you end up building a lot of cash reserves for your operations. Also, efficiency. Most business owners, I believe, want to be efficient. They want to load more passengers. So if you normally load a bus in 1 hour and you have a system that can cut down the loading time to, let's say, 15 minutes, is also an incentive to change that culture. Another thing, again, is the government, because the government runs most of the big public transit infrastructure. When they understand that transportation is the basic need that people want, that they can use to reach out to, the common man that touches their life. After their rent, the next thing is transportation. So if you solve that, you are solving almost 30% of every problem of the common man. So if you know that, okay, you can have a way that you can get like 5 million cards into people's hands, you can say, okay, bus operators take 200 naira off every ride per day. So you can say you are giving 5 million rides to Nigerians every day at a discount of 200. So when you say, oh, government has spent 20 billion, 30 billion on a transit subsidy, it becomes something that you can verify. The dashboard is there to show it. You saw Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the meeting here she had with the president. We have to expand social safety nets for Nigerians. And I believe public transportation through tokenization and digitization of payment system is a gateway to achieve that.
Right, these sound very enticing and mouth-watering, but contrary to popular perception, there are still many commuters out there, Kingsley, without smartphones and bank accounts. How can digital payment solutions remain inclusive for these commuters?
Thank you for that wonderful question. When it comes to the payment system, we thought ahead for the use case, knowing the terrain. We're Nigerians, so we have to create a product that works for Nigerians. So when it comes to you don't have a bank account, you can get the card without having a bank account because you are giving cash for the card and we are imputing a representation of, let's say you gave us 5,000, while putting 5,000 into a NFC-based payment card. When I mean NFC, is something you have to be near a field to get that top up, and that checks issue of fraud or identity theft or hack because there's no remote access. So you don't need a bank account to have that. Also, you don't need a smartphone to have that. But we also created a mobile application that you can also use to recharge the card by yourself. So if you don't want to go to a terminal to recharge the card, then you could use the mobile application. So the mobile application that is being rolled out is going to just be like an added product or added incentive for you to have convenience. But the basic things, which is making payments, getting a simple service like a taxi or a bus ride or even a downfall ride, you can make that payment seamless without any technological barrier except the card.
Great. So you're already very well thought out, it sounds like. Let's talk about partnerships with government agencies, banks, telecom players in scaling cashless transport systems. What roles do these play here?
Yeah, we have a proposal in a couple of places. Thankfully, Plateau State also adopted the system and it got positive recommendation by the president himself. We also thank the people at Plateau Express. We love their products, how they are using it, and we see the lives it is changing. But we also hope to have other people come on board, more government partnership. We can also scale it to giving cash-based subsidy to people in remote areas. Also hope to see it in civil service. Also hope to see it being used for other use cases apart from rides. We want to use it to buy your fuel. You can use it to shop in some selected stores. So far, you have micropayments that you need to make, that you just want something that gives you the same flexibility of cash. Then why not? We are open to that.
All right, Kingsley, thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you joined us midway, I've been chatting with Kingsley Eze, who is co-founder and CEO of Nairaxi. We'll see you again very soon, and well done on the great work.